Jared Roser here with Eli Holstein, star 2023 quarterback for Zachary High, getting ready for sophomore year, I guess, and already picked up this LSU offer. Eli, it's been, I guess, since right before the COVID shutdown, that week before everything got kind of crazy. Congratulations on that offer today, and how have you guys been doing overall?
Thank you. Football-wise, everything's been great. We have our weekly Zoom meetings going over with our receivers and running backs, and just a bunch of concepts that we've been going through. And I've been in touch with a bunch of my receivers. We've been throwing 2 days a week throughout the whole coronavirus break.
I know LSU is obviously a program that you're super familiar with. Your dad played there when he was back in college, and you've grown up in South Louisiana and Lafayette, and now Baton Rouge, then Lafayette, then now back in Baton Rouge area. So it's not a school that you have to do a whole lot of research on to know kind of the significance of it. What was today like? Just kind of walk me through the conversation and the emotions.
It was very unexpected, actually. I was out at the field running, and I got a call from my dad. He was like, "Hey, you just got off the phone with Coach Brew." He goes, "You need to call Coach O." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So I was very shocked. I got in the car with my dad. We went home. I called Coach O, and it was just having a conversation. He was like, "Hey, you ready for it?" And I said, "Yes, sir. Can't wait." And he's like, "I'd like to offer you a scholarship." And he goes, "It's a big opportunity to be a quarterback at Louisiana State University." Talking about Joe Burrow, pretty much about his career, winning the national championship, being Heisman, first-round draft pick, to earning $30 million a year once you get to the pros. And he was like, "Hey, you think you could do that?" And I said, "Of course, no problem."
Did you know when your dad said that you guys had to give O a call? Did you realize that, I guess, that was going to happen, or that was a possibility of happening? What was kind of going through your mind? Obviously, it's exciting to hop on the phone and have that conversation, even if it's not that definitive of being a scholarship offer. But did you realize how big it was about to be when you got told to make that call back?
I had an idea of how big it was going to be because Coach Brew had called my dad. He was like, "Hey, get on the phone with LSU right now. They're about to offer Eli." But when it happened, it hit a lot bigger than I expected it to be. It's just in the moment it was a lot bigger and it meant a lot more.
I'm sure Dad was pretty hyped too.
Yes, sir. Whole family's hyped. Everybody in my family is LSU fans.
Yeah. I guess what has been kind of some of the afternoons since that point, just some of the things that you guys are talking about, and some of that excitement from really the whole household.
There's been a lot of talk in between the family. It's a big deal for my family. Every person in my family lives in Baton Rouge, and everybody's around here in Baton Rouge. So I've grown up going to LSU games. My uncle has season tickets to LSU games. So I've gone to games, been into games, tailgated for years there, and LSU's been a part of my family for a very long time. So this is a really big offer for my family, and it's a big opportunity for me.
You and Caleb both pretty early on were pretty – your football IQs, I guess part of that comes from, growing up around the game so much, your football IQs have been so high, and your awareness of just kind of a lot of stuff, not only what's directly in front of you, but when you watch an LSU, even as a kid, like you're pretty on top of what you're watching. And now, having been so close to that for so many years and seen as a younger guy some of the frustrations that people had with the offense for years, and then see kind of the transformation the last couple of years, what was that like for you as a young quarterback, knowing that the goal was ultimately going to be to play some college ball? From that perspective, what was kind of your takeaways from the way you saw that offense continue to develop the past 2 years?
I've grown up from LSU, watching LSU, and LSU's been running the ball a lot for the past couple of years, and then this year was a big year. Had all these passing awards. Jamar Chase winning the Biletnikoff. That passing offense is very appealing to a quarterback like me because I want to stand back there and throw it as many times as possible. But an offense like that is something I would love to be a part of.
We knew you were going to have some pretty big time opportunities come along at some point, from the point that I think that would have been before your 8th grade year, just kind of getting a chance to meet you as you were getting involved with the bootleggers and stuff like that, as you were still with the younger team that ended up winning a national championship, and Caleb was with the older guys. You could kind of see that potential. You were already starting to get a lot of big looks. When did you realize that it was going to be this big and come this early, that you were going to be getting like a national champion type SEC Power 5 type offer, and that it was going to be coming before you ever even really kind of took the reins at Zachary?
I didn't really think it was going to happen this early. I was very surprised it happened this early because, I've been talking to school, every saying, like we want to see some film, some varsity film. And I was like, I completely understand. So I figured like during the season, after the season was when it was going to start picking up, but I was very surprised it picked up today. I got my first offer.
Who have been some of the other schools that you've kind of had the most contact with? I know at different points, Mississippi State has been in communication with you guys, and Baylor, and I know you guys are super familiar with Louisiana Tech, where Caleb's going to go play, and some others. And it's obviously it's a little bit different because you are still so early on in the process. But what has been kind of the communication through the last couple of months that you've still been able to have to some degree?
Last couple of months, the only school that I've been talking to personally was LSU, because I was calling them on a weekly basis, talking to Coach Callaway and Coach Ensminger. But I know schools like Alabama and other schools were in contact with Coach Brew, checking up on me every week. But the only school that I was in contact with every week was LSU. And that was about it.
Some of the competitive nature, but also big brother kind of mentorship with Caleb. What is he had to say about all this in terms of just kind of seeing some of that spotlight come to you so early, but also a guy that's been through a notable recruiting process himself the past few years, in terms of his advice on how to handle some of this moving forward?
I haven't really talked to him today, actually, at all, because he started his first today was his first day at job for his summer work. He's working for my uncle now. So I haven't got to talk to him today, but everything that I can think of, I learned from him, from route to throw, when to throw it, coverages, just everything you can think about a quarterback, I've learned from him. And I thank for that. And he was the best quarterback in the state for the past 2 years. You can look at the stats, look at how many games he's won, who he's played against. He's a born winner. And I hope to have as good a career as him. And if I do, then I know I will be successful. I'll win state championships, and I'll have an opportunity at the next level.
You mentioned Coach Brew early in the call, and you had a chance to work with him this year, getting started high school, and also working behind another of the state's best quarterbacks the past few years in Keilon Brown, who heads up to Memphis now. What was this past year like for you, kind of transitioning to the new school, the next level, and what did you pick up from those guys that you now kind of build upon as you head into this offseason and your next year at Zachary?
My freshman year was I was in the perfect situation. I had the perfect opportunity. Everything was falling into place. Zachary is the exact place I want to be. I love the community. I love my teammates, coaches, the schools, everything about Zachary I love. I've been blessed with the opportunity to learn from the two best quarterbacks in the state, Keilon Brown and Caleb Holstein, my brother. So, learning from them, I know the coaching staff that's there, learning from them, having them help me, I feel like I have the best opportunity to be successful and do what I want to do and win state championships.
What are some of the things that you're kind of focused on and working on yourself as you continue to kind of fine tune some things and try to build upon the talent you've already showcased as you just continue to move day by day, week by week, year by year? What are some of the things you have in mind that you're hoping to continue to build upon?
I'm really going to continue working on what I've been working on for past 7-8 years. I'm not really going to change anything. I'm going to keep doing what's there to this point. And if I keep doing what's gotten me to this point, I know I'm going to be a lot more successful my goal right now is to, win the first game, but ultimately, win each game every week, and eventually win that state championship.
In your post on Twitter, you had a couple pictures of Joe Burrow, who you mentioned some from the conversation with Orgeron. Obviously, I think anybody that grows up as a quarterback in Louisiana right now probably idolizes him and some of the things he was able to do. Anyone that grows up as a quarterback right now, anywhere around the country. You also had the picture of Derek Stingley Jr., who I don't know if folks always know about the relationship, the Stingleys and the Holsteins, but you guys have always, grown up around each other. Just talk about that, the little nod to Sting in the post.
First time I ever met Derek Stingley, I was in 4th grade. Him and my brother were on the same football team, 7th and 8th grade year. They had an amazing team. Think about it, they have now 3-4 Division I football players on that team. So I'd known Derek at the beginning of the year, and then actually they played basketball together. And every day after school, I would go and scrimmage against them, and I'd be the one guarding Derek. So ever since I was in 4th grade, I was guarding the best player in the country. I didn't know it at that time, but now that I know he was the best player in the country, and I was trying to guard, trying to do my best, but he's had a lot of impact on my life. I just love to strive the type of player that he is. He's hardworking, best in the country. We're really close to the Stingley family. I know Coach Derek Stingley. He's always followed up with me and my brother through my dad, and we're really close to them. And I'd love to have the type of career that Derek does have right now.
It's always funny to see y'all's dads get together, because you see that conversation that you've probably seen hundreds of times, where it's a very like, man, I'm trying to get like you. No, I'm trying to get like you. And then it is kind of like transitioned on to you guys too, of like, man, if I could have been like Eli, if I could have been like Lil Sting and stuff like that. So it's always a fun time. You also are familiar with, not necessarily to the same degree, but you were teammates with Walker Howard. You've been around Landry, Lyddy, 7-on-7. You're familiar to some degree with Arch Manning. And there's this group of y'all now that for years, quarterback was not a position that Louisiana produced the same way it did DBs and D linemen and other positions. But there's a group of y'all over this couple-year span that is starting to look like one of the best young groups of quarterbacks to come out of the state in so long. For you being one of the key pieces of this generation of quarterbacks coming through, what is that like? What's kind of the relationship or kind of competitive nature as you guys move forward, all striving for some really huge things for years to come?
I'm blessed to have the opportunity to be at this certain time in this football career with all these upcoming quarterbacks that have come through Louisiana now. Pretty much all started. I want to say it kind of started with my brother. Because after them you got Walker Howard, who's another great quarterback from Louisiana. TJ Finley, Keilon Brown. Myself, Arch Manning. There's a lot in Louisiana, and a lot of people, and now they're all getting recognized. And I feel like, I want to say, for me and Landry Lyddy, 7-on-7 has helped a lot with, going to different places around the country, competing against the best of the best. And I know Landry Lyddy took an offer from, I want to say, UAB a while ago. And I feel like 7-on-7 has played a big role in most of everybody's success, really. Yeah,
no doubt. It's going to be fun to watch. All of you guys, I'm looking forward to chatting with Landry in a couple days and doing a little video with him. But I think Louisiana high school football fans and really just Louisiana football fans in general are going to have a blast watching you guys continue to grow up over these next few years of high school and then beyond as you all get a chance to go play some D1 ball. Eli, man, appreciate you as always, and congratulations again.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on here.
Eli Holstein, Zachary quarterback, and now officially LSU target. Been a lot of conversation there for quite some time, but officially LSU target with the first offer of his recruitment just getting started.